So, go back the better part of 30 years and I'm reading most likely Rhythm magazine, and I see the launch of the new Premier Signia drum kit, and you know, it's the flagship set of drums. It's all these sort of new ideas, and I remember, funny enough, I think it was just a little bit after the Janista, and I remember actually reading about that one in Modern Drummer, and I've still got that magazine actually. You know, that's 25 years later. But I remember falling in love with the Janista so much that I, you know, went and bought one, and mine's part of it sitting over. In fact, 3 of the toms are sitting over there, just out of shot. But I got a Janista snare first of all in, I think the Janista came out in 94. I got the snare in 95, which I'd already done a video on, and then I got the kit maybe a year or 2 later. But ever since that time, I've always had a fascination, a kind of casual fascination, but I've always had like this little sort of fascination with the Signia line, and in particular, for some reason, I don't know, I think it was probably because it was the first kit I ever saw of that line, the cherry finished Signia, and it was only recently, last year or so, that I ever kind of saw another Signia which I thought was cool enough that, to my eye, that I would kind of think about buying, and that was actually white shells with black hardware. And I did actually inquire after buying one, but sadly the bloke that was selling it was an idiot, and an ignorant idiot at that. And he never bothered responding to me, and he actually did me a favour in the end, to be honest, because I then spent a significantly less amount of money buying the Artstar 2 shells, which will be coming at some point in the near future. But anyway, as I said, for the better part of 30 years, I've kind of always wanted a Signia, well, let's face it, Signia snare drum, because I was never going to get a kit. Especially now, but I've always wanted a Signia snare drum in cherry, and finally, just this year, I got one. There you go. So I think the drums, I think it's 14x5 actually. The funny thing with this this particular line is, and it's something I feel rather ignorant on actually, is that they seem to come with different setups. Now you'll see this has got kind of the, I won't say this is a cast hoop. I mean you know, it's sort of a die cast hoop, but it's not a heavy cast hoop. It's more like I suppose the top of a marching snare sort of hoop. And then it's got the regular triple flange on the bottom. You know, and I've seen drums with this configuration. I've seen them with just triple flange, and I've seen them with die cast as well, you know, regular die cast, not the slightly meatier kind, and obviously there you go, you get a slightly better look of things there, but you know, it's a wonderful drum. It's in fantastic condition given its age. The only real sort of, I wouldn't say issue is there's a little bit of sort of I don't know, sort of maybe patinaing on the badge, which may in itself actually brush it. You know, I might be able to clean it off, but the shell's in great condition. I think the only thing I really did with it actually was change the batter head. But it's got pure sound wires. Oh, there you go, pure sound wires on it. It's got re-rings. It's got a fairly, I mean, I can't remember what the thickness of the shell is actually. I'll put it up on the screen. But it's got the re-rings, top and bottom, 10 lugs, and as you see, it's the sort of, you know, the squared tube lug sort of design. You got the good old sort of Premier mechanism there, which works just fine. I mean, it's the same that's on the Janista. I mean, it does the job. It's on or off, and then you got the, you know, the tension knob there, but wheel I suppose, but and then you've got the butt end as well, which is kind of there you go, you know, a little bit more unique. You know, it works just fine. I did find on my Janista that part of this mechanism broke. I never did actually replace it, but as I said, it's the same as on the Janista. I really should actually have educated myself more on the specifics of these drums. It was just, I think for me, I never really kind of, I never really thought I'd own one of these drums, so it's kind of why I never really looked into the depth of it sort of too much. But you know, in terms of playing, it's I'm finding that it's I mean, it's got the attack, but at the same time, it's got a nice open feel to it. Which I mean, I had it at a sort of a more medium tensioning, which I mean, arguably, actually, it possibly could go a bit lower than I've just done it at the sort of the lowest tensioning. But I mean, I didn't want to go at pudding because you know you do that sort of low, wet splat sound on a 5-inch deep drum, and I just think it sounds silly, to be honest. That's why you have deep drums, you know. But all in all, I mean, I'm thrilled that I've got it. I probably should have cleaned it up a little bit before I started, but you know, it's a wonderful drum. As I said, it's in great nick. And the funny thing was so I bought this, and then the very following week, one came up on eBay. And I felt vindicated in the fact that it came in at it finished at £10 less than what I paid for this, and I think with the shipping or whatever between the two, it kind of worked out to be the same anyway. You know, so I was kind of felt a little bit vindicated that my ballpark figure actually worked out to be exactly that, because this came in. I paid £250 for this. The very same one that came up the following week was £240, and then there was a blue one that came in. I think just a couple of days after this one had finished, and that ended up at £265. So yeah, as I said, I kind of got lucky, but you know, it's like I was saying before. In my other video with regards to sort of buying ideas and buying tips, this drum actually sat on eBay for a couple of days before I made an offer on it, and I made an offer, as you said, of £250, and I think I was the only person that was interested in it because it didn't seem to have any watchers. There was no bidding on it whatsoever, and you know, I just as I said, I think I came away with a nice drum at a good price. So you know, there you go. It does pay to make offers on things, and you know, this is what it sounds like. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.